when you read between the lines, a narrative has been spun that those who are sympathetic to Palestinians or those who are critical of Israel are just anti-Semitic, and not the fact that, I don't know, there's an ongoing genocide happening. So does anyone know who the comedian Reginald D. Hunter is? Well, he performed a show at the Edinburgh Fringe event, and it sparked a bit of controversy, which he is now on the receiving end of an anti-Semitic smear campaign. So what happened? Well, he simply made a joke about Israel, and it wasn't anti-Semitic. He compared Israel to an abusive relationship, which, I mean, to me, that's not really that much of an edgy joke, is it? It's not really out there. Hunter, 55, was said to have made a joke comparing Israel to an abusive partner when he spoke about watching a TV documentary about an abusive marriage. When I saw that, I thought, my God, it's like being married to Israel, he joked. 2 Israeli audience members heckled him, saying it was not funny, to which the comedian replied, "You can say it's not funny to you, but if you say it to a room full of people who laughed, you look foolish." Now, the media is widely reporting that the audience turned on them, who are a couple, and hounded them out the show. Now, this is apparently the fault of Hunter and somehow makes him an anti-Semitic bully. I mean, first of all, comedians get heckled all of the time, and the natural response is to literally give it back. And a lot of the time when people do heckle, the audience turns to them while the comedian tries to embarrass them. I mean, you are disrupting their show. So if that's what happens, then that is the most standard thing to happen on a comedy set. But that's not even what happened, despite most of the media saying otherwise. Journalist Sangeeta Maiska confirms that no one was hounded out and she was there. "I hope to stay out of this due to stress since April, but it's unethical to let it pass. I was, coincidentally, at this show. The events are not being reported accurately by some press. Yes, it was upsetting, but the couple were not hounded out by a baying anti-Semitic crowd. If people find a joke offensive and they leave of their own accord, then that is literally no controversy. But the story goes deeper. These weren't a random couple. These two have been in the media multiple times. They've threatened to leave the country on multiple occasions, citing a rise in anti-Semitism. Now, anti-Semitism is absolutely on the rise. We're seeing Nazis on our streets now. I mean, we're seeing them all over Twitter. But this couple are more concerned about the left. It turns out that these two people are fairly prominent Zionist political activists. This is them here doing an interview on Victoria, Derbyshire, blaming Jeremy Corbyn.
What is your evidence that it is acceptable, and who is the equivalent of the so-called cool kids in your school example?
The cool kids have become the Labour Party. It's not just Jeremy Corbyn, and it's not all of the Labour Party, but it's a very, very loud part of it that's actually enabled this anti-Semitism to foster here in the UK and go throughout society.
Jeremy Corbyn moved the rock and the anti-Semites crawled out from underneath the rock. They're not going back.
The couple are known as Mark Lewis and Mandy Blumenthal. However, according to this Daily Mail article written by Sabrina Miller, there seems to be no mention of Mark and Mandy or their political activism. They had come to Britain for a romantic holiday and some much-needed respite from the horrors at home. But Shimon and Talia's trip to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this week quickly turned into a hate-fueled nightmare after the pair unexpectedly found themselves at the centre of an anti-Semitism row. It was only their second night in the city when this charming and friendly Jewish-Israeli husband and wife were literally hounded out of a stand-up gig by the comedian Reginald D. Hunter and a baying mob. Shimon and Talia, I mean, who the hell are they? They're nobody. They're fake names. Now, why would they use fake names? Look, it's incredibly obvious what's happening here. It's clear that this is a concerted campaign from Zionists who are trying to smear those who are critical of Israel, and Hunter is the latest victim of it. Basically, these two people are full of shit. This is them among 70 people at a Zionist organisation relaunch. More than 70 people attended the relaunch event of Herut UK, the political Zionist group affiliated to World Herut in Israel. The party's executive director, Karma Feinstein-Cohen, who came from Israel especially for the relaunch, spoke about the history of the movement, while pro-Israel activist David Collier spoke about the legacy of Zionist founding father Vladimir Jabotinsky. Lawyer Mark Lewis emphasised the importance of unapologetic Zionism, while the UK National Director Mandy Blumenthal chaired the event and introduced Herut UK's youth director, Harry Saul Markman. Now, I want to reiterate, Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and I'm not denying that these two haven't been on the receiving end of it, but these two people have been in the media multiple times attacking Jeremy Corbyn and Corbynistas for the rise of anti-Semitism, but there's hardly any mention of the far right. So it seems to me that this couple isn't concerned about anti-Semitism, they are concerned about attacks on Israel. Being a Zionist is not the same as being a campaigner against anti-Semitism, despite so many trying to conflate the two. And despite them being platformed in the media multiple times, it seems this round of media coverage, no one seems to know who they are, which is really strange. It's in fact been left to people investigating them on Twitter, because it seems people on Twitter are far better journalists than the well-paid mainstream commentariat. As you can see here, this is an image of the show, and you can clearly see Mandy Blumenthal shouting at him. Even Reginald himself has taken to Twitter to expose these frauds. And you can hear Mandy going on a rant.
What's happened here in Britain to make us not feel safe is there's been a total climate change. It's become acceptable to be anti-Semitic. Enjoy your racism!
Has it?
It's brought out people's feelings to the surface. It's almost like in that you are supporting women being raped in your school. If there was a child that in your class that you didn't really know, they didn't affect you one way or another, but if the conceived cool kids in the class said, don't like that child, don't be friendly with them, they're actually bad, a lot of people start to think, I don't like that child, they must be bad, I'm not going to play with them. And in fact, children are raped and murdered. I'm going to be nasty to them.
So now we have the full picture. Reginald makes an Israel joke. Mark and Mandy happen to be there. And because they're extremely pro-Israel, they were triggered by the joke and went on a rant talking about Hamas and rape and trotting out all the Israel talking points at a comedy show. I mean, this is deranged behaviour. So either they were told to leave or they left of their own accord because they were disrupting the show. Yet the media will have you believe that it was Reginald and a mob of anti-Semitic people attacking a poor Jewish couple. When you read between the lines, a narrative has been spun that those who are sympathetic to Palestinians or those who are critical of Israel are just anti-Semitic, and not the fact that, I don't know, there's an ongoing genocide happening. These two people are opportunists by pretending to play the victim, using a comedian's name to boost their popularity or to try and push the narrative that everyone is anti-Semitic, rather than the reality that most people oppose Israel's actions, and it has nothing to do with Jewish people. It's disgusting what they're doing. It trivializes anti-Semitism and it silences Palestinian voices. So I want to say solidarity with Reginald. I'm excited to say that Turn Left has significantly grown this year, and with that, we've managed to produce far more ambitious content, interviewing high-profile people. We did a 12-hour live election show. There are multiple people behind Turn Left, but we are still working around our full-time work. But we would love it if this was our full-time. It means we could dedicate so much more and to bring even more ambitious content. So if you've been here from the beginning, or you've only recently become a viewer, if you like what we do, then you can help us out. Please like and share this video. Make sure you drop a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your feedback. And we desperately need more independent media. If you want to see a socialist media alternative thrive, then you could be part of that. So if you can, you could support us on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month, or any one-off donation. We can use that money to upgrade our equipment, to rent out a proper studio, and to start paying ourselves. This is only the beginning. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Patreon.com, Turn Left Media. Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you, Turn Left.